Namaste, welcome to another class with Stefano. Let's start with the block handy. You'll need it pretty soon, but first let's do 2 big breaths in and big sighs out. And one more time. Full lungs. Just letting go completely. We might really need it, especially if we're doing this at the end of the day after a long day. We're going to focus today on unlocking and releasing the spine. So let's get a block and we're going to try and place it in between the shoulder blades and just lying down on it. So slowly placing it on the floor and just letting go. The head would release behind. You just try and relax your shoulders and arms and lengthen your legs. So if it feels uncomfortable, you just might need to readjust it. You might need to go a little higher or a little lower. And if your back is naturally curved forward, so known as kyphotic condition for the upper spine, you might really suffer here. So just lie down on the floor in a more relaxed way without any prop. So we're gonna do our breathing exercise here as we just relaxing and letting go of the shoulders and arms. So we're just going to slow the mind down, bringing it on the breath and just guiding the breath to be in and out through the nose. And from here, move into complete yoga breathing. So as you're ready to inhale, allow the abdomen to expand completely as you inhale through the nose. Keep inhaling as you inflate the rib cage. Feel the collarbones lifting as well. Your lungs are full. Exhale through the nose from your collarbones through your rib cage, allowing the abdomen to descend back towards the spine. Release. Relax the abdomen. Another cycle. And you'll really feel it as you breathe in this way, because your back will compress against that block or the floor, and you'll really feel the parts of the lungs that are inflating. So it's progressive, bottom, middle, upper part of the lungs, and vice versa as you breathe out, top, middle, and bottom. Every cycle is started with the relaxation of the abdomen, full expansion. Energy coming in as you're filling the lungs with oxygen and release on exhalation. So naturally restful, relaxing breath. And the more we breathe, the more we feel that those shoulders and arms are restful. That spine opening up softly, effortlessly. And as much as possible, we'd like to breathe this way throughout the class, even though at some point you might feel that the breath appears to be constrained because of the poses. The breath may feel labored because the sequences are strong, which is all fine as long as you're able to come back to this breath by slowing down and working just at the right pace for you. And this is actually a way to tell you're working at the right pace, being able to breathe this way. So we're going to try to allow that spine to soften up, unlock, release of any strain, release of any tension. I'm going to do quite a few twists and bends with this class, which otherwise would be a general Hatha Yoga class. So 2 more deep breaths here. Visualizing that wave rolling in and out. And then as we exhale with the next breath, we're going to press into our elbows and forearms to lift up just enough to be able to take the block out and place it on the side for the time being. We're gonna start lying down, and we're going to start by working a little bit with the core. So there's no happy spine if you don't have a strong core. So it's important to warm up and strengthen the core before we attempt any of those twists and bends. So we're going to start by placing the hands under the back of the pelvis, and then that's for support. And then from here we're going to lift one foot up and down, the other foot up and down. Try and lift both to about 30 degrees off the floor. If you feel that the lower back is unhappy, just come down. If you feel this is okay, you can even slide the hands out of that space and just place them next to your hips. You don't want to feel that the lower back is peeling off the floor too much. If that's happening, just try and place it back in contact with the floor, or lift the feet up higher, which will just naturally make it lighter for the lower back. We don't want any arch in there to avoid straining. Breathing with complete yoga breathing, and then exhale to come back to about 30 degrees. And then from here we're going to zigzag our feet up and down one at a time, recruiting our hip flexors and the front of our legs. Pretty strong. Watch for that lower back so it doesn't want to peel off the floor. If that's happening, just lift the feet up higher. And then one more time, slowing down, bend the knees into the chest, squeeze them in with both hands, allowing that lower back to now round off the floor, and feel how much of the relief that is. Just squeezing generously those knees right into the chest, breathing. And compress the abdomen into the thighs, just giving even more rounding and stretching to that lower back. And release. Arms back down. We're going to do some frog leg circles, so pressing the feet out as you stretch the legs, and then you place feet together with straight legs, and then knees into the chest. And here we go, just a few smooth rounds of these. Importantly, keep your eyes on the lower back. We're trying to strengthen the core, but we don't want to strain the lower back as a consequence. So the hands can come back under the sacrum, back of the pelvis if you need extra support. Also watch out for any uncomfortable noise or feeling in the hips. You may feel some clicking and grinding. Just slow down. If you do feel those, then we all stop with the knees into the chest, and we reverse that movement. Forward, opening, and back with knees into the chest. And you can lower the feet closer to the floor if you want more work for the core. You can make the circles broader if your hips are ready for it. And you'll know if they're not. You'll feel those clicks coming back. And then knees back into the chest, squeeze them in as we did before. Nice relief here for the lower back and for the abs. One deep breath in here. And then from here we're starting to roll along the spine, just using a few vertebrae at a time first, and then a few more, and a few more, and then it becomes a soft, slow movement, pleasant movement, going from the shoulder blades to your sacrum as you hold your knees. And then we use one of these rolls to come and balance halfway onto our sitting bones. So we are in the starting point for both pose or Navasana. Important is to have a long spine, so just squeeze your knees towards your abdomen and chest, lengthening the spine, bring your shoulders back and down, and breathe with your complete yoga breathing. And if you are happy there, you can move to one of the stronger versions of this pose, releasing the arms first parallel to each other. Happy here, just check the lower back if it's rounding, taking you back towards the floor. If you're starting to shake, then come back to one of the lighter versions. So lifting the feet but keeping the knees bent, or having the legs fully stretched forward. Gazing between your big toes, palms facing each other. Inhale here Exhale, open the torso to your right as the right arm comes around and you open into a twist. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, open to your left. Inhale, back to center. And bend the knees, place the soles of the feet on the floor, hold the front of your knees, round the whole spine, and bring in the head to be in between the knees, just softly bringing full relief to the spine. Inhale, lift your gaze up, and from here we're going to continue in a seated position, crossing our legs. So we can demonstrate this way now. Sukhasana, or easy pose. It's important to have your spine nice and long, so it's pretty common to have your knees right up and your spine fully curved, so that's really not good for the spine. We want to try and work to lengthen the spine, so just try and breathe and lengthen and bring the shoulders back and down. And if nothing works, just get a hold of a block or something soft and you can lift up on the edge of it, and you'll notice immediately how much easier it is to keep a soft spine. We're going to do a few exercises here to warm up the spine and shoulders. So as we inhale, we bring the arms back and we stretch back, linking the fingers, interlacing them and pressing back, feeling the stretch for the arms and the fronts of the shoulders. And then next time we exhale, we bring the arms forward, interlace the fingers there, press forward and chin to the chest, shoulders down, stretch the tops of your shoulders and the space between the shoulder blades. And more dynamically, inhale, lengthen, arch the top of the spine, exhale, forward, pressing, release, inhale, exhale. Now as we inhale, we lift the arms straight up and the hands are right on top of your head. Turn up to gaze at those hands, checking that they're right there on top of your head. Try and adjust if needed. Inhale to lengthen fully, separate the hands. Exhale, bend to the left. Left hand to the floor, right arm going overhead. And the right hip stays on the floor. The temptation would be for that right hip to come off the floor. Inhale, lift, palms facing each other. Exhale, right hand to the floor, moving slowly as you extend the left side of the spine. Inhale, lift back up. And as we exhale, we do a gentle hinge forward. So just without any rush, the arms come out broadly and you bring your whole torso forward without rounding the spine. The result of that would be a stretch around the hips. So if you don't feel anything in the hips, but you feel the back of your spine stretching, then just try to come up and redo it, imagining that your spine is a tree trunk that doesn't bend and you're just trying to bring the tree down from the roots. Inhale, lift back to where we started, swap the legs so we can get the stretch on the other side too. You may want to stay on your prop or try and go without, as long as your spine is nice and long. Inhale, both arms up. This time we attempt the twists. As we exhale, we open the torso to the left and we lower both arms down. The right hand comes on the outside of the left thigh and the fingers of the left hand just touch the floor behind you. So you don't want to pull yourself into twists, so the arms are just there to position yourself, but they're not pulling. Breathe deeply. The inhalation just takes you back and out of the twist slightly, and the exhalation makes more room for you to go a little bit deeper, and your chin goes over the left shoulder. And then from there, you just use that breath. Every inhalation coming slightly out, every exhalation, you're going a little bit deeper. And with the next inhale, leave your right hand there and sweep the left arm left forward and across. Bend both elbows, right wraps over left, right fingers get a hold of the left palm, wrist or forearm. Inhale here. Exhale, lift those elbows and lengthen the spine. Nice shoulder stretch. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist to the right, moving slowly whenever we are twisting and bending. Although your core might be nice and strong, you don't want to do it too fast. Also because if you're going fast, you might more easily make a mistake and just do the wrong movement and then miss out on the benefits of the pose. You want to feel your spine long. It's just the spine winding on itself. Your right arm might tell the shape of your spine. If you feel it's rounding, you do need to lift up onto something so that you can bring it back to its full extended shape. The next inhale, you sweep that right arm all the way across, and then you bend both elbows and you let the left arm wrap around the right. Same as before, locking the shoulders, inhaling. Exhale, lift those elbows, lengthen the spine. Feel the stretch between the shoulders. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Longer than ever. Exhale, arms broad and hinge. The hinging is at the hip creases, so the gap between the thigh bone and the pelvis. That's where the movement is happening. The spine is quiet, long, stays extended, and that's sort of added to our flexibility of the hips, but that also helps us maintain a healthy spine, because it's not good to just keep moving forward by rounding the spine. It's much better to hinge forward using the hips and keeping the spine long, so also to prevent injury for the spine. Inhale, lift back, and we're back to where we started. So if you had a block or a cushion right behind you, just place that away for the time being, and let's just place the soles of the feet on the floor, and from here, using the hands to support, we are going to come back, lying on the mat, and I'm going to go back again sideways, so knees fully bent, bringing the heels close to your sitting bones, and we're going to now strengthen the extensors of the spine, so pressing to the feet, energizing the whole inner line of the legs, and engaging the pelvic floor, the base of the spine. We're going to inhale, upper body completely relaxed, and we're lifting the pelvis up. And we're finding a point where the back wants to start arching, so we're slowing down there, and we're working towards distributing that arch along the whole length of the spine without overdoing it. We're just going to now exhale back to almost reach the floor. We're going to do this 3 times with the breath. Inhale, lift, arch, distribute that arch, exhale, down. Feel the work being done by those spinal extensors. Up for the second time, exhale, down, and last inhalation to lift. Exhale, release, back with your pelvis onto the floor. We're going to bring both knees into the chest one more time, give them a nice squeeze for relief. And now we're going to place the soles of these feet onto the floor, but a little bit wider, mat width apart. Knees still fully bent, and we bring the arms out to a T. And let's inhale here. Let's do some dynamic twisting. Nose in the, flying the nose. Exhale, bringing both knees to the left, and you turn your gaze towards the right hand. And then inhale, back to center. Exhale, knees to the right, gaze to the left. And a few times, just very soft, very gentle, safe way to mobilize that spine. So we're not used to incorporating twisting in our daily lives, So it's important to unlock and mobilize the spine to get used to twisting again, as well as side bendings and back bendings, and then we'll be more mobile and we'll feel happier in our spines, staying away from any back discomforts. And just one last time, and then we just come back to center and knees back into the chest and squeezing them in. We're gonna roll again along the length of the spine, perhaps this time a little more dynamically, a little bit more briskly if you like. You can come up fully on your shoulder blades and onto your sacrum. And then next we're gonna try and come directly up into a standing position, maybe with the help of the hands, and we'll meet the front of the mat, standing up with the feet hip width apart and energy running up the legs, pelvic floor, length for the spine, shoulders down, Tadasana or mountain pose. And from here, inhale, lift both arms up. Feel the full length of the body, gentle back arch. Stretch for the front of your body, and then exhale, hinge forward. Figure of 7. Bending the knees, hands to the floor. Step back 1 foot at a time and move into a downward facing dog. So for downward dog, and I'll demonstrate it sideways, you want to have initially your knees slightly bent so that you can press your abdomen towards the thighs and starting to bring the shoulders down. Once you feel that your upper body is fully stretched, then you are in the right posture. You want to have everything aligned, including your arms, your neck, your spine, and you want to feel that the spine is nice and long and not flattening or rounding. Only at that stage you can start to bring one heel down at a time, walking the dog for the extension of the back of each leg one at a time, giving the stretch to your calves and maybe a bit of the hamstrings as well. From here, inhale, lifting the left leg up towards the ceiling or the sky, 3-legged dog, nice and long. Exhale, this time the left knee goes to the right elbow. A bit strong. Extend that left leg out to the right and shuffle that left foot out, lowering the left hip to the floor. We are working to stretch the fascia here, and also we have a gentle twist happening. Your shoulders are still facing forward, but the lower back is now facing at an angle towards your right. And then lift from here and step the left foot back to where it was. And then the other side, from downward dog, inhale, lift the right leg up towards the ceiling. And I'll demonstrate this way. Exhale, right knee to left elbow. Take that right foot out to the left. And then from here, lower the right hip right down. The shoulders still facing down and forward as your lower back's facing to your right. Inhale, right foot back next to the left, and just enjoy the down dog a little bit more. And exhale, knees to the floor. From here, we're going to bring the elbows to the floor without changing the position of your shoulders. So elbows come right under your shoulders. Interlace the fingers, tuck your toes. Inhale, lift the knees, swing the hips back. Similar to down dog, but you're on the forearms. It's called Dolphin Pose. You still want to press that abdomen towards the thighs. You still want the shoulders to come down towards the floor. And we're gonna do a core strengthening here, bringing the shoulders back over the elbows and walking the feet back into a low plank. If this is too much, you can bring the knees to the floor. Otherwise, stay up and just keep it strong. Keep separating those shoulder blades from each other. And exhale, release pelvis to the floor. Reach back into your feet, separate those hands, palms facing each other. You're naturally at the beginning of Sphinx pose. We're gonna start extending the spine. So, energizing everything in the lower body from your feet to your pelvic floor. Press into the forearms, inhale. And as you try and draw those elbows towards your hips, but those elbows cannot move because of the friction of the mat or the floor, your spine starts to arch. And it starts arching. Try and let that arch develop from the lower back, but use every pair of vertebrae all the way to the shoulder blades. Keeping the shoulders down and feeling the front of your body starting to stretch. Exhale, release all that energy, separate the elbows and bring the chin back to the floor. Bring the hands to be under the shoulders, separate your feet, tuck the toes, press up, downward facing dog. And from here, we're gonna go to the high plank. So inhale, shoulders over wrist, feet together. And you wanna have those hips aligned with the rest of the body. So you don't wanna see them up here. And especially don't wanna see them down there, because then you're more at risk of straining with the lower back. So engaging the core, so starting from the pelvic floor to the core abdominal muscles. Pretend you're about to receive a punch in the stomach, you're trying to prepare for it. Keep it nice and strong, weight onto the left hand, roll onto the outer edge of the left foot. Inhale, lift the right arm up. Side plank, you can bend the left knee and place it on the floor if you need a much lighter version. Otherwise, if you're up there, or even if you have the left knee on the floor, you can take the top arm overhead, find the top hand with your gaze. Rotating the left upper arm outward is always helpful for safety and extra strength. Inhale, roll back to center. Exhale, open to the left. Left arm up. You can bend the right knee and bring it to the floor if you like, or if you're feeling strong, you can even lift the left leg up. You don't want to be sinking in any part, just springing off the floor. Exhale, back to center, and from here, one more breath in. Exhale, bend both elbows into Chaturanga Dandasana, and then we release to the floor. Reach back into your feet, press into the hands. Inhale, start lifting with the bend in the elbows, and when you're starting to feel the lower back arching, you transfer that arch to the middle, upper back, as you lift up, keeping your shoulders down and your elbows in. The pelvis stays on the floor. So automatically, if you're lifting up higher, you're stretching strongly with the front of your torso. This is called Bhujangasana, or Cobra Pose. Much stronger, nice and opening, fully extending the spine. Something we don't do that well or very often in our daily lives. Keep your neck aligned with the upper spine. Try and breathe, still with complete yoga breathing. You'll find it constrained, but that constraint is really what makes yoga breathing unique and healthy. Exhale, bend those elbows, release. Chin to the floor, rest here. Separate your feet, tuck the toes, press up. And this time we come and sit onto our heels as we place the tops of the feet on the floor. And just allow the hands to come in wherever they need to be, forehead on the floor, elbows off the floor. It's called child pose. It's a natural resting pose in yoga, so just letting go here. Breathing with complete yoga breathing, just feel how the breath is expanding and lifting everything up as you are naturally resting with your lower back, giving it a bit of a break after back arching. Inhale, lift your gaze up. What we're gonna do next is walking those hands out to the right at 45 without changing the position of our hips. The hands are still next to each other, Exhale, coming down with the forehead, and that's quite a strong stretch for the left side of that left shoulder, left arm, and left side of our torso. So nice stretch for the fascia, nice stretch for the muscles running along the leg, the left side. It's a nice side bend. Inhale, walking the hands through the center over to the left and down. Nice and therapeutical. Inhale, lift and back to our child pose. Inhale, lift your gaze up, press into the hands, shoulders forward, tuck the toes, press up, downward dog. So we're gonna do a standing sequence now. Let's inhale and lift the left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, swing it through, left foot inside left hand, right knee to the floor, coming onto the top of the back foot. If you have problem with that right knee, roll the mat over or bring a soft blanket to be under that right knee. Inhale, lift both arms up, hands together, link them into Yoni Mudra, pistol grip. You're in a low lunge, so left knee trucks left ankle. And then we inhale here from neutral spine. As we exhale, we arch back, exposing the chest to the sky. And just enjoy here, pressing strongly into both feet as we're trying to balance it. And also distributing that arch smoothly along the length of the spine. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, hands to prayer, the heart. Tuck the toes of the back foot. Inhale, lift into high lunge. And lift both arms up, palms facing each other, straighten the right leg and just energize on inhalation and just sink on exhalation as you keep it strong. Strong pose, you're lengthening the front of the right leg, keeping the spine neutral if possible. With the next exhalation, you bring the hands back to prayer, the heart. Inhale here one more time. Exhale, open the torso to your left. Generous, simple twist. Without dragging the pelvis with you, so the pelvis still quiet, facing forward and down. And if you can go further, you can see if you can tuck your right elbow outside of the left thigh, palms pressed into each other. Just watch for no discomfort of the lower back. And if you're there, you can extend to those arms right to the floor, left towards the sky, breathing into your abdomen, opening that spine right up into the twist. Palms back together if they were apart. Inhale, back to high lunge. Open your arms, exhale, open the torso to the right and place the sole of the right foot at 90 degrees on the floor. Heel to heel alignment, lunging, you're in warrior two. Shoulders are over your hips and that left knee trucks the left ankle. Watch out for that left knee knocking in, open that left hip up. So no work at all for the spine in warrior two, but we're gonna add some work now. Inhale, lift the left arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, right hand following the right leg. You can gaze up at the top hand. Inhale here one more time. And as you exhale, you turn back to look at the back foot and you start side bending a little bit more. It will be hard to see the movement, but you certainly feel it. Nice stretch for the whole left side of your torso. From here, inhale, lifting back to warrior two. Exhale, bending the left elbow and coming down onto the left thigh, lifting the right arm and taking it overhead. And then you release that left arm down along the outside of the left leg in your extended side angle pose. And you can hold it here without much weight onto that left leg. If you like, you can bind it. Right arm comes behind, left arm under that thigh, and then the Hands find each other and you bring the top shoulder back to be on top of the bottom shoulder. Nice opener for that left hip. And then we inhale, lifting back to warrior two. Exhale, arms down and turn the left foot to be parallel to the right foot. Wide stance. We're gonna forward fold here. So hands to your hip bones, relaxing your spine, inhaling here. Exhale, hinging forward as we discussed before. Hinging forward is at the hip creases, so you'll be tempted to round the spine to come to the floor, but no rush. That would be counterproductive. Use every inhalation to lift the spine and lengthen it. Every exhalation you come down, keeping that same length in the spine, just hinging at the hip creases. Feel how much more of a stretch that brings to your inner hips and the backs of your hips, hamstrings and inner thighs. So it takes a little bit of time to get used to it. So while we are getting used to it, you'll get to around halfway. You'll be able to graze onto the floor with your fingertips. See if you can bring the left hand to be right under your heart. Inhale here, and as you exhale, you lift the right arm and you follow it with your gaze, introducing a twist on top of that forward fold. Want to see that the right arm is pointing straight up. And then exhale back to center. Swap the legs, swap the hands. Inhale here. Exhale, left arm. Lift, follow it with your gaze. Exhale, back to the floor. Now we're gonna try and do it a little bit deeper, but it's up to you. So we're gonna try and walk the hands to the right foot and see if your left hand can get a hold of the top of that right foot. And then you inhale there. Exhale, lift the right arm as we did before. Quite a bit stronger. Breathe. Exhale, bring the right hand back down, walk those hands over to the left foot. Right hand over the left foot. Inhale here. Exhale, lift the left arm up. Nice twist. Gaze up at the top. Hand. Exhale, left hand back down. Walking the hands back to center and continuing your forward fold for a few more breaths. So those twists would have helped you to lengthen the inside and back of those legs a little bit more. So you might have your palms on the floor, and if you're flexible, super flexible, you'll have your forearms or the crown of the head on the floor. You know yourself. You don't need to challenge yourself too much. It's important to still feel that the spine is nice and lengthened. That's the priority. And just enjoy the feeling for the stretching of your legs. If it's feeling too strong, that means it's probably really too strong. So lift up and just allow your body to adapt to it before asking more. Every inhalation is a gentle lift. Every exhalation is a little bit more of a descent. And you choose how far you allow your torso to descend with the long spine, just based on the feelings for your hamstrings and inner thighs. And then wherever you are, we inhale to slowly start lifting. And when we are halfway, we bring the heels towards each other. We can bring the hands onto our thighs and slowly lift to a vertical spine. And just wondering whether you're feeling better than before this pose. It should be the case. If not, it probably means you took it a little bit too far. Okay, so just turning that left foot back towards the front of the mat, swiveling onto the balls of the back foot, and stepping the right foot up to be next to the left, giving a shake to both legs. And we're meeting at the front of the mat. So giving ourselves a little bit of a challenge now. So feet together, hands to pray at the heart. Inhale here. Exhale, bend both knees, and as you lift the heels of the floor, you come sitting onto your heels. So we're gonna try and do a nice generous twist here, and for those that have the strength, we can add a arms balance on top. Let's inhale, bringing both arms up. Exhale, open the torso to the right and then lower both arms down. So your hands will be at some distance from the floor. So what we're gonna need to work on is trying to graze with the fingertips onto the floor and just go deeper and deeper. This left elbow, we wanna slide up towards the right buttock. So it's essential to be able to twist quite deeply, to then place both hands to your right, facing 90 degrees to the right, and then just tilting over to your hands and see if you can get your feet off the floor even for a second, and back down, and then back to center. Everyone inhale, lifting both arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. Can be very simple. Check your knees, they should be level with each other. If the right knee goes further forward than the left, that means that you're twisting, helping yourself with the pelvis, which is actually cheating in this case. For those that want to take it further, you need to work that right elbow up, and then hands on the floor, and then tilt over and see if your feet eventually come off the floor. And back down. And back to center. And we're gonna sit on the floor for another back arch, just opening up with the spine a little bit more. So I'll demonstrate it sideways. So we're going to do what we did at the start. So lengthening your legs and slowly coming down onto the floor, lying down. We're gonna practice fish pose. So easy way to start, lift one buttock at a time, slide the respective hand underneath, bring your elbows in towards the torso, and then pressing into your hands and forearms. Allow the spine to peel off the floor completely. As your buttocks slide towards the fingertips, the head will come off the floor. And then you lengthen the front of your torso, your neck, and slide slightly the buttocks back away from the fingertips to bring the crown of the head in contact with the floor. And you just breathing here, lifting up using the strength of your back muscles, giving full core support to the pose, engaging the pelvic floor and the deep abdominal muscles. And if you feel that this is enough for you, you can stay here. If you want more, you can slide those hands off and allow those forearms to rest on the floor. You shouldn't have much weight into the neck, otherwise you might really regret it in a few hours time. So make sure that you're still pressing into those elbows and forearms, unless you can fully support the pose with your core, with your torso. And if you want more, you can bring your hands to prayer at the heart. And if you want, you can lift one foot, lift the other foot, lift both feet, and release. Wherever you are, bring the forearms and elbows back to the floor, press onto them, lift the head off the floor, and allow that head to rest softly back in contact with the floor. Couple of counter poses, chin to the chest, bring the hands behind the head, and just give a stretch to the back of your neck, and release. And then bring both knees into the chest and give them a nice squeeze there, full relief for the lower back. And we're gonna continue with a few rolls along the length of the spine. We need to do the standing sequence on the other side. So one big roll to come back up, standing. Inhale, lift both arms up, gentle back arch. Exhale, hinge forward, bend both knees, hands to the floor, and this time we step one foot at a time back into downward dog. And we are going to inhale and lift the right leg up towards the ceiling this time. Exhale, swing it through, right foot comes inside right hand, and left knee to the floor, coming onto the top of the back foot, lifting into the low lunge, first pistol grip there. Inhale, lengthen the front of the left leg. Exhale, arch to expose the chest to the ceiling. Inhale, back to neutral. Exhale, hands to prayer at the heart, tuck the toes. Inhale, lift the left knee off the floor, high lunge. Inhale here, and lift both arms up, palms facing each other. Being strong, feeling that the back leg is lengthened and also is parallel to the long edge of the mat, together with the left foot parallel to the long edge of the mat. Spine is neutral. Inhale here. Exhale, hands to prayer at the heart. Inhale here. Exhale, open the torso to the right. Watch that you're not dragging the pelvis with you in that twist. And stay there, or take it further by tucking the left elbow outside the right thigh. Variation, optional variation, extending the arms. The lower body hasn't changed its shape. And breathe into the abdomen. Palms back together if they were apart. Inhale. Back to neutral spine. Open your arms. Open your torso to your left and place the sole of the left foot on the floor. And you're now gazing over your right hand. Warrior two. Feeling grounded into the floor with the feet. It's a warrior pose, so you just feel really strong and stable and steady. Inhale, lift your right arm up towards the sky and lower the left hand down onto the back leg. Gaze up at the top hand. Inhale one more time. Exhale. Deepen that stretch as you gaze back to the back foot. Nice breath there. Inhale, lift back to warrior two. Exhale, lower the right forearm onto the right thigh and take that left arm up and overhead. No weight into that right leg. Your choice whether you are extending it further by bringing that right hand down along the outer line of the right leg, or you can lift up and prepare for the bind. So to be able to bind, you really should be able to bring your torso back into one plane, so there's no twisting here. Gaze over the left shoulder and then release and inhale back to warrior two. And exhale, arms down. This time swivel directly into the balls of the back foot, and you step the left foot up to meet the right foot. And what we're going to do here, we are going to bend the knees, and as we exhale, just allowing the torso to start melting down. You're allowing your abdomen to rest onto your thighs, and you just let gravity take care of that spine, allowing gravity to work against the normal force that you have in your daily lives. Now it's helping you to separate your vertebrae from each other, giving a breather to your discs, as opposed to what happens in your normal daily lives. Bringing each hand to the opposing elbow. You have no longer any contact between the upper body and the floor. Knees still, nice, generously bent. And then imagine somebody gives you a push from a side and you start swinging like a pendulum. Shifting your weight from one foot to the other foot. And then release your hands to the floor. Inhale to scoop your hands up as you unroll the spine one vertebra at a time. Last comes up the upper back, the neck, and the head. Inhale, lifting both arms up. Palms together. Exhale, hands to prayer, the heart. So just enough time to finish on the mat. So we're going to inhale here and then exhale, bending both knees, keeping the heels on the floor this time, coming into a chair. See how low you can come without changing the shape of your spine, and then release, lifting your heels, sitting onto your heels and bringing your hands right behind you and walking back to one last lie down position. What we're going to do, we're going to bend the knees fully and we're going to roll onto our left side. Both arms are pointing towards the left. The right knee is right on top of the left knee is onto the floor. So imagine everything is super glued there, so you can't move the knees at all. All you can move is your right arm. Left stays where it is. Inhale, lift that right arm right up, pointing right to the sky, and then from there descending over to your right. And you might get first the back of the right hand on the floor, and you turn your gaze to look at that right hand. So that right shoulder may be on the floor, or if you're a bit tight with the shoulders and the spine, you might need to put some support under that right shoulder, for example, a block or something soft, so that you don't feel any tension there. So just breathing and just watching that spine as you breathe deeply with complete yoga breathing. And then breathing in back to bring the knees right up and facing the sky one more time. So shifting to your left of the mat and then rolling onto the right side. And again, so the heels are close to the butt, the knees are right on top of each other. Inhale, left arm up, slowly come down to the other side, maintaining those knees in contact with the floor, and then judging whether you need some support for that left shoulder. And we are opening up the spine a little bit more in a soft way. And then from here we are inhaling to come back to center, lifting the knees up and shifting back to center. We're going to come down into a little bit of relaxation. So just extending your legs, separating your feet, allowing the feet come out either side, maintaining an angle between the arms and your torso, your palms facing the sky, and just bringing your mind to your breath and allow that mind to slow down. We're going to relax here for a few minutes. So it's important that you're comfortable. This is a yoga pose as well. It's called Shavasana. It means the pose of the corpse. So as the name suggests, you're not supposed to move much. So the only movements you'll have are your breath and your heartbeat. So solve those big issues now. If you have a discomfort in the shoulders or in the hips, you just give them a jiggle. And if it's in the neck, you just tuck the chin or do some gentle shaking of the head to get rid of those obvious tensions. And once you're happy there, we're going to now move into Yoga Nidra. So that's the progressive relaxation of the body. It means yoga sleep, where your mind moves through your body and then just calms down to help you to become a bit more self-aware. It's important to let go of any other thoughts, and the best way to do that is to stay focused. Concentration. Bring your mind onto your lower body and let that lower body feel heavy. Feet, ankles, calves, shins, knees, hamstring and thighs and hips. Allowing those to get heavier and melt as if they want to spread into the floor. And then bring your mind to your sacrum and you follow the whole spine up. With every exhalation, you allow each part of the spine to feel more relaxed, letting go of any tensions, completing with the neck. And as you relax the neck, you also let go of your shoulders and the arms. Just heavy appendages of your body. Relax your head. Allow your face to lose any expressions. And just now watch your whole body moving into a deep state of relaxation. It's a key part of Yoga Nidra. This is where you risk to lose the benefits if you allow your mind to travel onto other spaces. So bring the mind onto the breath and watch your body breathing. If other thoughts come into your mind, simply acknowledge them and then bring the mind back to the breath. Watching that belly rise and fall, watching the feeling of your back pressing against the floor, the air flowing in and out through your nostrils. Try and keep that mind engaged and concentrating onto that breath. This is preparatory for the process of meditation, where you need full sustained concentration. And we'll soon switch that concentration onto the sound of a mantra to finish off with the sample of kirtan. Just a few more rounds of breath here. Softly, we're going to reawaken the body without giving it too much of a shock. So we still want it to stay quiet and calm, and the same for the mind. So wiggling fingers and toes, gentle shaking of the head, maybe stretching to your feet, maybe taking your arms overhead, stretching into those hands. Nice stretch for the shoulders, bringing your knees to the chest if you like, squeezing them in, breathing into the belly, allowing that abdomen to relax, and just doing some circles to massage your lower back, one direction and the other direction. And then slowly coming out onto your side into recovery. And just rest there until you're ready to softly bring yourself back to a seated position. We finish off with a little bit of kirtan or group mantra meditation based on some tunes. So we're going to use the mantra Om Hari Om. It's a call and response. So keep the concentration we created during Shavasana and direct your mind onto the sound. Allow the mind to bathe itself into the sound. Om Thanks for following all the way to the end. Namaste and see you next time.